One. Hi guys, this is Mona, aka Nash, with Drinks on Me, and series that I've got going on other side of the game, where we get different perspectives, and I really don't have a different perspective, but I'm definitely going to be a student today. Um, we're going to be talking about Susu, um, or in other words, like a collective, a community, economics, financing. You can reach me at Mona Minaj on Facebook. You can reach me at Natural Impressions on IG. You can reach Classy Hoes or Drinks on Me at Classy Hoes with a K, LASSY underscore HOUEX on IG, and Classy Hoes on Facebook. And may I introduce my guest, Mr. Bryant. Take it away, sir.
Hello, thank you, Nana, for having me on here. Appreciate it very much. Yes, I'm Dewan Bryant, retired military entrepreneur, and do several things. And like you say, Minaj, being able to talk about SUSU or group economics, community economics, how you want to put it, in a way that being an effective way of people helping each other. And the idea where it stems from is West Africa. So it's originally a method of being able to help and bring up each other in the community, stem from West Africa, off of our heritage, and brought out of same idea brought out of slavery. And as it was brought out of slavery, it was the same concept in which they created Black Wall Street, the famous Black Wall Street, created off of this. So once again, it shows two things that our heritage of always building together and economically being to build cities, empires, came from a collective effort. And then be able to have the Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, which we know was terrorized and burned down by those terrorists back in
Right.
1921. And then, but there were more Black Wall Streets in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There was a Black Wall Street in New York, Chicago, as well, even in the South. I think it's Four Hot Corners, Georgia, down in Florida. So we had these systems all over America already, to where because of the time from when we came over here, kidnapped over here as slaves, to after slavery, there was still that passing on of the heritage. There was still
Okay.
that passing on of the lineage and stuff like that, and customs and history. Um, and what happened was that we got somewhere between that we got away from. As we got away from it, we got away from building each other up. Now, during that period of time as well, there were two individuals. There was many more. Marcus Garvey. You talking Marcus Garvey? He was talking about same thing. Susu, group economics, us pulling together. Frederick Douglass talked about the same thing. In the same way. It's not funny, but it's amazing how all these great black men and women, Mary Bethune, was doing the same thing, talking about group economics, how they were doing this and talking about it, but also implementing it in a way to where they showed that it worked. It was not about greed, but it was about lifting each other up. And
Right.
in lifting each other up, the whole village went up. And I have a saying called Ubuntu. I might be saying it wrong, but it's me trying to reach back to my roots. Ubuntu means I am because we are. So it's kind of like the community thing. I am because we are. So
Right.
it's not separation from anything. I'm a part of a whole, and that whole continues to strengthen me. So Malcolm X talked about group economics, Susu. Martin Luther King talked about group economics, Susu. We know
Black
what that
Panther.
led to. Medgar Evers, let's break it all the way down. Bill Cosby, people don't realize it. Bill Cosby was talking about group economics and Susu. People don't realize that. Even now, and now what's happening is that we're all now starting to talk about group economics and Susu.
It
From
looks
Jay-Z and
different.
Beyonce to you got Nick Cannon, you got Ice Cube talking about it. You have Tyler Perry,
I was
Tyler
just gonna.
Perry
Yep.
implementing this on the west side of Atlanta, implement that. So it's not like it's unheard of. What happened was that we stopped doing it. And when we stopped doing it, we wanted to become more, I'm not even gonna call them mainstream. We wanted to become more attract or find ourselves to be more accepted. So we started getting into the brands of the Tommy Hilfiger and the all the other stuff. So we feel like, okay, well, now white people will accept us because we're working a brand. But what it really was there was no gonna be no acceptance anyway. What we should have been garnering more for was respect. And you know, now we have a whole culture. Now, even with the millennials, it's like, no, we're getting back to our own roots. We're not even, because we can strive and do a whole lot better and change things in a right way by us sticking together and pushing towards that positive goal. So Susu, it's like I tell people, rebuilding Black Wall Street. And
what you're talking about really breaks down the myth that Black people and or brown people, Afro-Indigenous people, and finances don't go together. Like, we have this idea that we don't know how to handle money, but if I'm getting what you're saying that once we stepped away from our ancestry and our roots and started following a westernized or European frame of mind and something that was not built for us, we became I instead of us. We kind of lost our knowledge about how to build each other up and how to finance each other, because I mean, money is power and freedom in a way.
Yes, exactly. And you're right, that's definitely a myth into thinking that we didn't know how to handle money, because civilization came from Africa. So we know how to handle money, we're able to build civilization, right?
Right.
The thing is that greed is not of us. We're about community and all of us being able to be lifted up and enjoying each other. Greed implements into a position where it comes to destroy. We know those who came to implement greed. So the system that you have, I mean, you even look at the system today in America. You know, we're sitting here in America and we're going through this economical this thing that's going through the country. You have other countries who are understanding about taking care of their people, and they have their people in a system to where for the rest of the year their people are able to effectively recover, their finances are taken care of, and the government's taking care of them and send them at home or send them in a position where they're safe. Our government is talking about a $1,200 stimulus check to the people, and then when it came down to when the $2.1 trillion given out, miraculously they didn't have enough. They didn't give it to small businesses; they gave it to large corporations. So,
well, some small businesses that they did give it to, they didn't look like us.
Yeah,
it didn't look like us. Yeah.
So you're right. Exactly.
Short term, they gave us crumbs instead of trying to help us secure wealth or keep our legacies intact. They much rather give us crumbs and let our legacy fall to the wayside.
Yeah. Yeah, it's intentional. It's very intentional. It's very intentional. And what we have to understand is that we are brown people, Latinos, Afro-Americans. We are a walking brand of culture and rich history already. We're that. You know, you can take from the Aztecs, you know, take the pyramids from the Aztecs down there. You can swing that over to Africa, and they always talk about Egypt, but don't know that Sudan actually has more pyramids than Egypt. You can take that, and you can just you're wrapping everything that we do. We're a walking brand, we're walking culture. We're rich in everything that we do. And what happened is that for us, it becomes we've made them rich. We made these Caucasian business owners rich, millionaires, billionaires. I tell people all the time, you know, basketball was basketball, but it wasn't basketball until we started playing, until we started getting into it. Because it wasn't about the basketball being played in the NBA, it was about the basketball being played in the neighborhoods. The how that became a culture of going down to the corner or to the park playing basketball all day long, or playing in the street or in the back alley. I remember being a kid playing basketball on a milk crate. So we created a culture to where this was cool. This became the thing to do, to play basketball. Not only be like Mike, but at some point beat Mike. You know, you had a lot of people come along in there, you know, from Dr. J and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson. So you can go down and name the whole list of them. And I'm originally from Chicago, so we always talk about we got playground legends, we got the NBA legends, and we always sit around, we debate about that. But that became the culture in which we created that swag. People like to say, we created that swag, even when it came to football. For some reason, we have not understood as African Americans and Latinos, and that we are the brand. These guys can own the business, but we're the brand. And if all NBA, NFL players would just say, you know what, we're gonna create our own league. We're gonna create our own league, and we're gonna now start having our own African American owners. That's the end of it.
Right.
Because with other players, these old white owners, what they finna do? Nothing.
Well,
So
it's a lot like slavery, though. Quite honestly.
Yeah.
Old white owners, old white plantation owners. They weren't going to farm their own land. They're not going out there to play basketball or any other sport. They're not doing it.
You're right.
They're not getting slave wages, but in comparison to what an owner gets, it's nothing.
Yeah.
They're able to pay that out because I never even thought about how much an owner makes. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think that financial literacy is important to the cause of Black Lives Matter, just of us Black people being uplifted and coming together, period? Why is that so important, financial literacy?
Ooh, okay. Well, it's so important. Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey risked their life talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Bethune was able to start a huge big company off of it. And then we get down to the assassination of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. They was and people don't realize this, it wasn't non-protesting and it wasn't about standing up to the mayor that got Malcolm X and Martin Luther King assassinated. When they started talking about economic power.
Yeah, money.
Learning how to take our dollars, our money, and show that we have economic power and start our own businesses, coming together with our own business, but also teaching the generational wealth behind us how to be able to handle their money. That's what got them assassinated, because it scared Hispanic Caucasian people to death. Because you gotta understand something. Still, the richest continent in the world is Africa.
Yes.
It will never, and Africa will never, it's gonna always be, because Africa don't need nobody. All the resources, it just produces its own self, and it's so rich with everything already. So when we start talking, when we come from that already, and then to understand everything we do, we pick up, and we're better than because of what's already in us. So when they start talking about economic power, you have all these white people that was not going to work, as you say. We're used to, they always try to call us lazy, but really they're the ones that didn't want to work.
Right.
And now they were scared, and it was just, that sits right there. So that's why we need to learn financial education, because we started learning how powerful the dollar is. Stop buying into, and I tell people all the time, we buy the Tommy Hilfiger brand or these other brands that really don't care about us, don't do nothing for us, or donate or try to help us any type of way. But we make them $1 million brands, $100 million brands. But when we can sit there and do it for each other and make each other 6 or 7 figure household, and once we start doing that, now we put ourselves positioned for generational wealth. What they're scared of is generational wealth, because that means that now we're no longer going to them asking for a job, because see, we don't mind doing the hard work as well.
Right.
Hard work, that's not, our people built pyramids in Egypt and Sudan, so heritage of us is already hard work, but the prosperity of the hard work, for those things. So it's not like it's something we can't grasp, something we can't take hold of or get. It just becomes a position of us being able to implement the financial education, stop talking about or investing in stuff that's not going to be rich about our culture.
Right.
And once we do that, it's a game. It's game over. It really is. It's game over.
I don't like using the term African American, because I'm not specifically I wasn't born in Africa and brought here or moved here. I'm American. I mean, that's the nationality. Um, I'd say Afro-Indigenous person because I mean we are indigenous to the earth, and and originators. I don't know what you want to call it, but I wonder with the systemic and really almost ingrained in our DNA, the way the system is set up and has been implemented and has been, I don't know, um, supported in such when we're from birth, we have these rules, these things set up against us. That's a systemic, right? And then we grow and we become invested or we believe in these stereotypes and these prejudices. And we see in our communities that we have this discord, we're kind of not connected. How do you bring people together and really convince them that economic growth is possible and freedom is possible if we unite when there's such a separatist, um, I don't know, mindset. And I mean, I know it was imposed upon us because it takes a village. That didn't come from England. That came from Africa. You understand? It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise someone up. Like we've moved away from that. And as Americans, forget the color for a minute. As Americans, we are so narcissistic and self-centered, and we're not really about coming together. So how are you convincing people to buy into this? Even though history, I mean, if you study our history, our global history says that any group that comes together will succeed, right? But we as Americans have a mindset that's kind of left. That's like we're the only ones. We're still messing up with this coronavirus situation because we can't act right. How are you talking people into doing this? How are you talking them into buying into this?
Well, I'm giving them the example of rebuilding Black Wall Street. And a lot
Mhm.
of us African American people, we understand that or heritage of that. At least understand a little bit when it comes down to what Black Wall Street was, or at least the mission of Black Wall Street.
Right.
And also, I give them the example of understanding that individualism, or they want to say capitalism, is
Mhm.
always preached to those who are poor.
To keep them
So
poor.
rich people understand making money together, keep making money. They're
Yes.
not talking about being so much of a capitalist individual. Um, you can take any corporation. You take McDonald's. McDonald's understand partnering with people who wants to buy into their franchise in order to continue going on with the symbol of McDonald's. Because if it went by itself,
Right.
McDonald's wouldn't be no more. They just get
Right.
a they just get a percentage off the franchise using their logo. They teach individualism to keep people poor,
Mhm.
because the first thing we're going to do is what? Strike out and try to strive on our own. Meanwhile, Walmart and Sam's Club is together, aren't they? Right? Right?
Right.
See, and that's the thing, we don't ever look at it. You got the owner of the Falcons and Home Depot together, right? He owned both of them,
Mhm.
but it's not collectively. He got other people as well. So you
Right.
teach and you push this individualism, capitalism type of idea to people to keep them poor, because or keep them striving hard to be able to make it up there, because it's going to take them longer to make it. But on
Right.
the backside, in the other meeting room, you're saying, let's get together, y'all. Let's be able to buy this stuff up. Let's be able to get this so we can move faster. And
Right.
moving
Right.
faster, they make the money, and then they stand back and they say, they make it present themselves like they did it on
What
their own.
I did.
Yeah. But meanwhile, they know a bunch of them already got together and did. So what it
Mhm.
makes the other people realize, look at it and say, oh my God, they became a multi-millionaire on their own. I can do the same thing. No, you can't. So then, it's kind of, it's
Right.
a scheme and it's a trickery to it. So what I do, I just say, you think about, as we rebuild in Black Wall Street, as we're changing each other's lives. And I tell people, I say, our country, we could really, well, we could do a whole lot better, as far as taking care of people, our infrastructure. I say the one thing that hurt our country is greediness,
Definitely.
greediness. You know, we have America has a lot of billionaires. I think it's over 428 billionaires we have in America. 1,800 millionaires we have in America, and yet we're a country where we got bridges falling apart. You know, we
People
got
with no electricity and running water.
yeah, we got homeless people. You know, and I'm gonna tell you how other countries sometimes see us and be able to use us in a way that's to kind of like laugh. Um, Over in what's it? I want to say Arabia, United Arabs, or over in that area, Dubai. They built a whole island. They built an island, built it from the seafloor up, an island based off American money. So, and then over there also, homelessness is not accepted. So they don't like their people to be homeless because they believe in that royalty of everybody royalty. So you're not gonna be homeless. You may not have as much as somebody else, but you're not gonna sleep on the street. That becomes an embarrassment to the whole society. So
Right.
we're gonna find some place to put you up in a house. You know, in America we can do the same thing. But because we have so many people that's high up, our politicians, our lawmakers, and not saying all of them are, but we have that's so focused on
Mm-hmm.
greed that it's a sad system. But when we begin as what's happening now really is a change of culture for the future. America is not great right now. America has just been a country that's been able to have a good military and good movie stars and good sports athletes and put this shiny thing up for the rest of the world. And but as we and that's what the war has focused on. But as we have seen these past three and a half years, 45 didn't dismantle that whole thing. But good is good by in a lot of ways that's great because now the world sees America for what it is. Even other countries are saying, "Oh, this is who y'all really are. This is what y'all have always been."
Well,
Because you
maybe
can't
they won't follow the ignorance that America tends to spew. I don't know that it's because of the see that we're not great. I question when we were truly great. Um, I mean, I could go there all day because America and the United States of America is two different things. You know, so I feel some kind of way about that. But you are right. People are looking at us now and saying they don't have it all together. They don't have it all together. Let me ask you a question. You said you were retired military.
yes, ma'am.
Does that sense of camaraderie and having to work together, does that help fuel or did it help set up your mindset for the Susu? Does that help fuel you? Because I'm assuming you have to work together in whatever missions or whatever you're doing. You've got your group of guys and girls that you would be fighting with or beside or working with. Does that kind of help your mindset with this? Is that how this started, or have you always been like a group thinker, like a
Um,
community person?
I would say that I've always had. There's always been a leader inside of me.
Hmm.
And I'll give a little bit of background. I grew up in Chicago, so growing up in Chicago at a young age, I was about, I think 10 years old, probably 9 years old. I was running drugs for some local guys, like just because I was a kid, so they would never expect this kid. So I've always been around that type of stuff where it was a bad lane to be in anyway.
Hmm.
But even as a kid, I always seen things a little different. I always even the kid, I'm like, why am I carrying you can't carry? My time, well, why I'm carrying this stuff you can't carry? Or I always seen that, when I looked at my community, I always said, man, well, always a bunch of us always together. I said, well, either the kid, like, well, we swept the streets together. Well, we clean, and then as I got older, in the gang and stuff like that, I was, I think at 16 years old at John Marshall High School in Chicago, it was like after lunch, I just told him, I said, you know what, I'm done. But I always talked about us being able to do more as a people if we take our minds away from the gang mentality, selling drugs and all that stuff. And if everybody put $1 up every week, we could really walk around and start buying up communities and implementing a more positive thing instead of negativity. And so I quit the gang at 16, in the school, and I almost got jumped on, but I said I was done. I said, so it's always been a leader in me. It's always been a type of idea of being able to lead and know that there's better out there, and I thank God for that. That's not nothing I've done from the earth itself. I thank God. So when I joined the military, it helped me hone my leadership skills, helped me know how to be, when to say stuff, when not to say things, when to push behind someone else, when to step out and pull myself. And in the military, there's nothing you can't accomplish much in the military without having teamwork.
Right.
It has to be a teamwork. I don't care. I mean, you can have the best tank, but if you ain't got the teamwork of operating that tank and communicating on tank, then you have nothing. We have a great logistics system in the military. I'm all dog logistics, love it. But your logistics system is really operated because of communication and teamwork of people. So what the military has told me and implement was that you can be a good leader or you can be a great teammate. And I said, well, I'd rather be a great teammate because you can always have leadership skills already. But when you're a great teammate, you already stand out as a great leader. Good leaders only stand by themselves. Great teammates don't become a great leader. So Susu has been around for over 400, 500 years, of people doing it, different families doing it. I had a friend, still got a friend, she's up in Noonan. I was doing a seminar here in Columbus, Georgia one day at the library. And I invited people out. Nobody come. But she was in another seminar doing across the hall doing something for her company. And she's not from down here. So she walked over and me and her started talking. And what I was telling her at that point, I was talking about group economics. And she was like, I know it's group economics, but she said, you ever heard of Susu? And I was like, so we began to start having a conversation with Susu. And she told me that her family, her mother, actually coming from, I think it was Virgin Islands, had bought property in New York City based off of Susu and bought multiple properties off of Susu. So me and her began to talk, and she's like, "Oh yeah," she's like, "This is something that you do. You find this always in the islands, in the islands among Armenians and Bohemians and Haitians and Virgin Islands. We do Susu all the time. There's different things they call it, throwing hands and stuff like that, but we do this all the time. Build each other up, start a business, and he says, why don't you all do it here?" And it dawned on me. I said, "Man, why don't we do it here?" And it just so as been able to talk about that and implement what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
In the aspect of where we at, we have there's a lot of people that's doing it. There's a lot of people that's coming together, and I'll tell you, we're growing. It's a powerful thing. We're growing because our eyes, as African American people or brown people, how you want to put it, are being open again. And this time, because of everything that's happened to us, and things that we've done to ourselves as well, we realize that we have more responsibility.
Right.
Of making our own legacy than trying to sit out here and put a hand out, ask for the government for help or this for help or this agency for help. We can do this ourselves and do it better, more powerful. We can do it better. You don't see Jewish people protesting like that. You don't see them going to the government for money. You don't see Arab Americans going to the government for money. You don't see Asian Americans going to the government for money. We do. Because what they want to
see, they get it. We see it. I think it depends on where you're at. In New York, there's a big problem with government doling out funds, and it looks different for different groups. But let's say to the Jewish people, for example, and they're getting money through Section 8 and things that and doing things that are illegal and that are prejudiced in practice, and the government is happy to give it to them because they're not brown. The same thing with anyone who comes from another country here. I mean, I think everybody, you say we ask the government for money, but I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, and I went to a predominantly white school, and I had never seen food stamps before. I did not realize that these white people were paying with this different colored money. It was food stamps. I didn't know when I'm in the suburbs, and that goes from middle class to upper echelon. And I didn't realize, a lot of these people here have government assistance. There's more non-black people in the country. There are by far more white people getting assistance or non-blacks getting assistance. They just keep it hush, and also they get top dollar. They get assistance that a lot of them get assistance that will help them become independent and pass on legacies. Get assistance, government assistance for their businesses. They don't have to be impoverished. They get a white female is considered a minority. So we just had a whole situation here where they said minority businesses can fill out and file for some type of funding, because of coronavirus. And a friend of mine did it, and they were told, well, a lot of these white ladies came in and did it the first day because white females are minorities. So non-whites, they get government assistance for sure, definitely. I think that, and I'm not even saying that we don't want to get off of it. I think that they have more opportunities to move beyond government assistance. And that government assistance is meant to get them on their feet versus out the assistance the government gives us is meant to keep us on our backs because that's what they profit off of. They profit from standing on top of us, on top of our failures or our need. They want us shackled to them in some type of way. Sorry, I interrupted you, but
no, that's fine. That's fine. You're right in what you're saying because the access of things, they have a better access, or not access, but the hand up to be able to start a lot of their businesses and stuff like that, and then access to a lot of things that that's going to be able to put them in a position where they're living better. Because you find in a lot of these affluent neighborhoods, they're on Section 8. They're staying in a house that's renting $16, $17 a month, and the government paying most of it, and they're living like they're just dandy. But no, actually, they're on Section 8 in these government programs. I think that as we begin to, like I said, it's starting to change. Things are changing. We have more colored people, colored, brown, and Hispanic, and Latino, and all that. No, not Hispanic, Latino, African American, and that right there, Mexican Americans running for political offices.
Yes.
Beginning to implement these other higher places. And as you see, it's scaring a lot of these older racist white people because they realize they're being pushed out. They're being pushed out. And there's a change coming. There's a change. I mean, the momentum that's right here down the country, not just the presidential election, but even local elections. There's a change that's overwhelmingly happening because the population of us continues to grow and multiply. We continue to see that we can do things better. We want better for everybody, not just better for ourselves, but better for everybody, and an equal justice system, a better education system, a way better infrastructure. We should have a system where you can travel in America and really travel. We can't because we're because of what's been done. So a lot of that old stuff is being pushed out and it's dying off, and it's a great thing. It's absolutely a great thing because it was never progressively positive. It was to try to hold somebody else down, make themselves feel better. But now a lot of them, their ideas and themselves, they're passing on. And I love seeing all these young people come up here and they become politicians. They're running for office because they have the ideas that's going to push the country into a position where we're really forward. And that's the great thing. And it's just not in America. You have over in China, you have over different countries. This younger generation across the world understands how to be better. They're not so much geared up on trying to be racist, and they're more connected.
Right, the internet, and I stand by it. Music, culture, a really important part of culture. It drives everything. I mean, people have marched out to wars with music. People give birth to music. I'm like telling you, between music and internet, younger people are so connected in a way and understanding each other in a way that even our generation did not, because there was not the ability to communicate and see somebody so easily. You couldn't do it, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, it's breaking down. It's breaking down a lot of stereotypes and a lot of just fears that were unwarranted, and we are much more alike than not. And then we have these truth seekers, these younger people, I'd say from like 50 on down, that are like really pressing for the truth and digging for it and demanding it. And what they find, they're not afraid of or ashamed of. I think the archaic, like good old boys back in the day, that all of that I think was really because of the way in which they acquired and maintained their money. You know, they knew that they
Hmm.
did that off of lying and stealing and cheating and genocide and germ warfare and all types of things. They knew that. So they were afraid. But see, these people, these young kids, they're so far removed from that. They're really like F that. Some of them is going on, but that's what they did. They're so far removed from that they don't feel the need to hide. They don't feel the need to buy into the lies. And that is a good thing. And plus, I mean, like there's a lot of biracial children or multiracial children. Well, I mean, you got to put a whole lot of white in the black to make it gray. So they like like you got a
Yeah.
lot of white moms with black kids. Like, what you gonna do with that? You got to stand up for your kids. And
Yep.
I'll tell you, nobody makes a noise like a white mom. Really, I'm not lying.
That's right. And
Yeah,
I think it's just a good. We're in a time where, because of that internet access to a lot of things, it's easier for people to be financially educated. And for the youth coming up nowadays, they are very interested in being owners. They're very interested in being not
right.
only just making money, but understanding how to, really be able to keep that money in generational wealth. Because as they've seen before, if it's not something that's passed down, then that means they got to start off hard, or in a bit of a struggle. So you have
Right.
that, and I mean, like I say, it's a in the Susu, you have all different ages, and
Hmm.
but what it also does, it teaches working together, community. It also teaches the generational wealth method of being able to pass something down. So
Yeah.
that when they come behind you, they already have a leg or foot up, to be able to start off on their own as well. So
Right.
as we're doing this, and I call it rebuilding Black Wall Street,
Hmm.
because if people don't know, Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma had over 600 businesses, 21 movie, no, two movie theaters, or 21 different type of this business here. We had a police station, fire department, and all type of stuff, all type of things,
Hmm.
laundry service and cab service, even had its own transportation service, you know. So it's what that was. It was a great snapshot of African civilization. How from nothing we can take it and build it to greatness, and that's the
And it
thing we're
was
doing
born
now.
out of necessity. It was born out of necessity. You're talking about some of these Black Wall Streets started so long ago. It was before integration. You know, I think there was a real breakdown when we became integrated with non blacks. And I think it threw a wrench in things. Yeah, they tore down Black Wall Street and other black cities that were prospering. They burned them down because they couldn't stand it. When we were forced, I mean, it's a good and a bad thing. When we were forced to come together, all of that necessity to be able to maintain on our own fell. It fell to the side, and then we really did become um, the stepchildren of the United States. Really, we were starting to emerge. So we're talking. I mean, like this started during slavery, and then Reconstruction, and then beyond that, um, black, brown, yellow, red people in America were they had begun thriving in a way that I do think was kind of scary to whites. But as soon as we got together, somebody was smart. Not only were they able to, appease the people who said, "Hey, we don't have what you have and we want it," but somebody had to think, this is a good way to end the necessity for these black communities to keep their money within themselves. Gee, this is a good way for us to be able to come in and take that audience, that market from them. Like I don't believe that it wasn't. That had to be part of it because I
Hmm.
know they were looking at all the black dollars and they wanted those too. Well, how
Yeah,
can you do without killing them? Mm,
and that's exactly what it is. Exactly.
yeah.
Um, I'm a licensed nail tech as well. So being a licensed nail tech, my mission right now is to open up black-owned nail salons and black-owned beauty supply stores and teach,
Hard to find.
get down to teaching our people healthy hair products, healthy skincare. Even coming down to our nails and our feet, being able to do it in the right way that's healthy,
Hmm.
that's prosperous, healthy nutrition, all those things right there. And the reason why it turns around and becomes
Okay.
as we're doing that, as can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, so as we're doing that, we turn that dollar around,
Hmm.
putting that dollar right back into our communities. And
Right.
as we're doing that, we begin to. I tell people all the time, if a business sits in your community and doesn't give back to that community, it's a parasite, and you need to get together and kick that business out your community. They go somewhere else, because the business only stands because the community patronizes.
Right.
So it's only right that the business get back to the community as well. So my whole goal, I do a lot of philanthropy work as well. Hand out over 2,000 boxes of food to the
Nice.
community a month. Get out there and help homeless people. So giving back is just natural. It's something that's already needed because I understand what it does long term as far as building people up, um, and that's important. The other aspect of it is for people to be able to understand that, to empowering people as well. You know, one empowering people, put in a position to have to empower people, helping
Right.
people. So uh, there's a lot of things that able to do through the SUSU, able to do because we bond together, able to do because we're like-minded men and women who want better for our households, for ourselves, for our generation to come after, but for our communities as well. And that's what we're about.
Very nice. If somebody's interested in reaching you, how can they reach you? What's your handles, your social media
Well,
handles?
you can reach me at, my number is 334-947-8461. My
Okay.
email is DEJUANBRYANT36 on Facebook, I'm Dewan Bryan, but I think Instagram, you can reach me at Wealth Builder 7, Wealth Builder 7 on Instagram. On my YouTube, I think I'm also Wealth Builder 7 too on my YouTube that I talk about economic growth and economic empowerment, us being able to positively influence each other lives.
Nice, nice. Um, hmm. So we talked about learning from the past. Are there any first steps you would tell someone to take if they're trying to work towards financial freedom, either individually and or um, maybe group? Maybe I got a group of girls and we want to try and do some. What's the first steps we should take
Well,
for
I say the first step
community based
is
financial?
really, what's your goal? What's your overall goal? What's your overall
Okay, so
goal?
set a goal.
Um, Taking an assessment of where you are financially at that moment right there, which like a budget, seeing what bills you're paying, see where where money is going out your pocket.
Hmm.
Um, you can take a look at where you are as far as career, or your job, or
Hmm.
being able to understand. just understand where you are as far as bringing money in. I will also tell them to, as I do tax professionals as well, tell them to start a business, even if it's just a small business, a home-based business. There's a lot of tax breaks coming to home-based business. I have a friend of mine as well who helps our people to understand how to take care of their finances in a positive way. I also help people get to expansion of $100,000 in credit, understanding credit, understand how to be responsible with credit. So I also offer that services to them. They want to contact me, and then also being able to truly understand financial education, the power of the dollar, and being responsible with your money. We don't need to be running from paying debts. If you have debts, let's pay the debts. But also understanding credit. A lot of people don't understand credit. They don't understand it. They run from it. They hide it. They don't want to look at the credit report. But in order for us to get to that next level, we have to understand you can't be in a negative side of debt and think you're about to be able to expound abundantly on this side right here, because you're always, every time you dig out the hole, you put yourself back in it. So those type of things. And for people, it's not that it's hard. It's the focus that goes with it. It's not as hard. It's not hard to come out of the situation and be better in a financial situation. Just the focus that you want to push with. And that's why I would tell them, that you can do anything and everything.
I believe it. I believe it. So, community's role in finance. Um, you said, Susu, it takes a village. Come together with a common goal. Assess each individual or collective ability to pay into something. So, a budget. Um, you should take steps to educate yourselves or seek out education in basic, I will tell you quite honestly, a vocabulary, like learn financial vocabulary, vernacular. Like there are terms that I might not understand, terminology. So just, even exposing yourself to that. I'm sure they have finances for dummies somewhere. And I'm not saying, like literally, I would need it broken down to the very last compound, for real. Get those things together, you're saying, and then come together. Once you've got all those steps in place, then you'll be able to make moves, is what you're telling me. So moving forward, are there any events or online things, or anything in the works for you?
Right now, there is want to be able to put together a this a empowerment seminar. I'm trying to do that here in Columbus, Georgia area, but if we have to travel around, do it. An empowerment seminar, it teaches everything from finances, health, cooking, uh, mind, body, spirit, um, medical. Instead of taking all these pills and stuff, there's natural herbs that the earth already grow that helps your body. Your body's already from the earth, so the earth heals your body.
Holistic healing.
So that empowerment seminar we're trying to put together is going to be something very, very powerful for people to be able to come to and really start getting a base, ground base of that everything they want to do is already in.
Thank you. I've been learning that. I've been on that journey. Everything that I want to do is already in me. Everything that I think I don't know, I really do. I really do. We come from it. We stem from it. Do you have any last things? I'm kind of wrapping it up because I think we covered everything that I've asked. That was very informational. not, not to be like doing the whip, but yeah, no, this was good. I'm going to talk to you again. There's some things that you spoke about that I'm interested in, and I'm interested in your take on it, and I'd like to see see how that goes. Hopefully, you'll be able to do your seminar. If not, you can webinar it in case we can't have the big groups. Webinar is a good thing.
Yes, yes, it is. Absolutely. I guess the last thing I like to be able to say is that we have to we as people, especially people African American, brown, melanated, we have to stop thinking everything's a scam or a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme, because what happens is that that's implemented, or those type of things are said to keep us from being able to get into financial situations that's going to make our money grow for us, make us better. So by saying that, we don't get into it, but we believe in the rat race of going to work 9 to 5 and push somebody else in. So understand. I just want to start understanding that everything is not a scam. Most things isn't a scam. Most of them isn't a scam. Most of them isn't a Ponzi scheme, because you can pretty much you got people got common sense. You can tell when somebody just keep asking for something, but there's nothing to produce. You already know that that's not right. So stop thinking that everything's a scam. Stop. We have to stop doing that. We have to. That's just is because even though someone said that to us, we take it and we make it a statement of education without actually being educated about what a Ponzi scheme is or a pyramid scheme. Or, many people in this country, millions of people, go to work every day and don't realize a job is a pyramid scheme. Don't even realize it.
Really?
Don't even realize it. But that show you how much education you really have. So I just want that. I really would say my last thing that we have to stop doing.
See, I like what you just said about a job. That's just a matter of changing your perspective. That same eye that you look at somebody else and be like, that's a pyramid scheme. We never turned it inward and looked at who we're working for, because that's exactly what it is. It's a pyramid scheme. It really is. I never thought of it like that. So change your perspective, educate yourself, open your mind. No one else will do it for you.
Yes, I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, I say. So I want to say thank you again. Other side of the game, trying to take the eye out of finance. Taking the eye out of finance, make it a us thing. We got this.
Yes. Peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.